Tony, good morning, my man. How are you?
Hey, Rover, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing good. This must be a very busy time for you. Not only do you have a children's book out, Justin and the Bully, that's what it's called, and it's in stores right now. But with the Super Bowl coming up, you're probably in demand. Everyone wants your opinion on things, I would assume.
Everybody does want an opinion, and then we're doing some stuff for NBC down at the Super Bowl, and so it is. It's kind of a fun time, a great time of year. It's Super Bowl time for sure.
Why did you write? I know you've written some other books about yourself and whatnot, but why a children's book?
Well, my wife Lauren and I have actually written a series of children's books for Simon & Schuster. We've got 7 of them out, and it's been a lot of fun. My wife reads a lot and has read a lot in elementary schools, trying to encourage kids to read more and have more fun reading. So we wanted to get some material where we could read to the kids and enjoy it, but also have a message. And so for the last 3 years, we've been going into elementary schools, reading, and we'll always ask the kids, what should we write about next? What should the next book be about? And the last year or so, overwhelmingly, the kids have said, you need to write about bullying.
Yeah.
It's happening more. It's not just physical. It's emotional. It's mental. You talk to older kids, the internet bullying and social media bullying. So we said, let's do that. So we wrote about a young kid who wants to play soccer. He's smaller than the kids his age. They don't really want him to be on the team. And he has to kind of work through his parents, get the courage to tell his parents and then tell his coach, and together they all work it out and they become a good team. And that's kind of the message that, as kids we need to help the younger kids, help the smaller kids, and it's been good to go into schools and read this story and talk to kids and encourage them to do that. So it's really been great.
Were you ever now you were athletic. You, of course, played football professionally and then coached. So I'm assuming in junior high and high school you were and probably played multiple sports, I'm guessing. You were probably not bullied yourself, I wouldn't imagine, were you?
Not overly, but we went through the hazing incidents and the different things you had coming on to teens when you were either a freshman football player in college or a rookie in the NFL. And that was something I never really understood. And when I became the head coach of the Buccaneers in 1996, that was one of the first things I did. I said, I don't know what the traditions are here, but we're not going to have any rookie hazing. You're going to welcome these guys, help them be part of the team, and we're going to be in this together. And I think those are the kind of messages we have to send all the way across the board, whether it's a professional football team or an elementary school campus, that, hey, we've got to work together.
What was as a coach, what was your biggest challenge with the players? Was it just the mix of personalities that exist? Was it, some guys, would tend to get into trouble and that kind of stuff? What's your biggest challenge dealing with players when you're a coach?
The biggest challenge in the NFL is getting everybody to believe in the way you do things. There's 100 ways to win. They can all be successful, but to win, you have to have everybody going in the same direction and everybody believing. My first job in Tampa obviously was harder. Didn't have a lot of track record, so you say, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to approach it. We're not going to have the bullying. We're not going to have the hazing. We're going to be this way. We're going to be good off the field. We're not going to get in any trouble. That's as important to me as being great on the field. And not everybody buys into that. What does that have to do with winning? Well, then when you have a little success and you win the next stop, it becomes a little easier to sell that because you do have a track record. But getting everybody to believe is the biggest challenge. As far as the players and getting them to play, and they all want to win. They all want to be coached. If they feel like you can help them win a Super Bowl, they're going to jump on board.
Before you came on, we just happened to get into a conversation. Tony Dungy is on with us. He has another children's book out called Justin and the Bully, which is in stores now. His website is CoachDungy.com. We just happened to kind of get into a conversation, I don't even know how, about concussions. One of the guys here on the show says he has a young he played football, but he doesn't want his son to play football because he's now afraid of some of these injuries. What's your feeling on the danger to? We're learning more and more about concussions and whatnot. What's your feeling on the danger to kids? Should parents allow their kids to play football? And what do you think of the NFL's response to the concussion problem?
Well, the NFL, we're actually doing much better than we did 30 years ago when I played. We know more about it. We're doing things better. It's a tough sport, and it is a physical sport, and there are collisions. But there are other sports that way too. Hockey, soccer. There's concussions. My niece plays women's basketball. She's 13 years old, girls basketball, and she got a concussion that's bothered her. So it happens when you're going to be active and athletic. I don't think I would be afraid to I do have a son playing football now, and I think if you do it the right way and we coach it the right way, we can make it a safer game, and I think we're trying to do that. But it is definitely something we should be concerned about. I had a couple when I played, and basically, hey, when you feel good, is your head still cloudy? No, I think I feel pretty good. Okay, go back in. We're a long ways from that, and we're doing a much better job now. So are all the dangers gone? No, but I do think football has come a long way, and I would not be afraid to let my kids play.
Have you adjusted to, obviously you're on television, I see you on all the time, commentating and whatnot. Was there an adjustment leaving the game as a coach and moving over to the broadcast side? And how have you liked it? I assume you don't have nearly as much pressure, but some people thrive on that kind of pressure. Is there anything missing from your life since you left coaching?
It's fun. I'm enjoying the broadcasting. NBC, we've got a great product. I work with some great people, and it's exciting to try to put on a good broadcast every week. I didn't miss the game as much leaving as some people might have thought. It never was the total thing in my life. I always tried to do other things. So when I retired from football, it wasn't like, oh, I've stepped away. This has been my whole life. It was a part of my life that I enjoyed, and I do miss the relationships, but I've never said, boy, I wish I was back in football.
Tony Dungy is on with us. Of course, we're based here, our home station, we're based here in Cleveland. The Browns, always losers, have another new head coach. You've been in a position where you come into a team and you're the new head coach. What's the biggest challenge? Is it getting everyone on board, like you mentioned earlier, saying, hey, this is how we're going to do it, this is how we're going to win? Because we've had so many losers. We've had so many different coaches, and it never seems to work out. How do you think an organization like that, we have a new owner as well, but how can an organization turn things around?
That you've hit on the biggest challenge. It is changing the culture from a losing culture, losing attitude to a winning attitude. And a lot of people say, well, nothing changes that like winning. You have to win before you get a winning attitude. But I think it's different. And when I came to Tampa in 1996, they hadn't had a winning season in 14 years. Almost what you're describing there in Cleveland. And it really was the challenge of we're going to think like winners. And I talk to the team all the time. This is what winners do. This is how you practice. This is how you prepare. This is what you do off the field. You take care of business. This is what winners do. And I think the one great advantage that the Browns have now is the new owner. Jimmy Haslam understood what went on in Pittsburgh. He was involved in the Steelers organization, and there's nobody in football that I have more respect for than the Rooneys and the way they do it, and they've done it like winners for 40 years. And I think he's going to bring some of that to the table, and it is going to change the mindset and change the culture there.
How much of it is what you do as a coach or any coach, and how much of it is just pure talent that you need to have on the team in order to be a winning team?
Well, some of it is luck and getting the right person. The Steelers picked Chuck Nolan in 1969, and he picked Joe Green, and those two became the cornerstone. And so it was the right star player and the right coach and the right message all coming into play. Peyton Manning got there to Indy in 1998, and they had a choice between Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf, and they made the right choice. So then the right star player is there with bringing the right attitude. So some of it is having a chance to draft Peyton Manning. I don't know that there's a Peyton Manning out there this year for the Browns to draft, but there will be a Joe Green. There'll be a guy who can be a dynamic force that maybe wasn't a household word, and they've got to get the right guy. But so much of it is what the organization wants to be, and I think they're doing the right thing. It's not a quick fix. It's not we'll hire the biggest name out there. We all get comfortable. We're all on the same page. We're all preaching the same thing. I think they've got a chance.
Tony Dungy is on with us. He has a whole series of children's books. The latest is Justin and the Bully. He's also written his own books. His website is CoachDungy.com. I know you have to run in just a second. Let me go to Eric, who wants to make a comment to Tony Dungy. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Hey, Eric.
My question is this. I want to know why Rodney Harrison is such a jerk to you on the NBC show. I think you're such an admired, football icon. You mentor, young players, and it just seems that he kind of treats you like a jerk. I know, he was a very good football player. I respect him for that, but I've always not liked him. And on this show, it makes me even like him not even more because of the way he treats you. He calls you old man. He's nudging you. I just don't like it. I don't know the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Tony, how is it behind the scenes? Is there any sort of...
Behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, Rodney and I are really good friends. We have a lot of fun together. I don't look at it that way. I'm not watching the show to see how it comes across, but I can tell you there is nothing but admiration between the two of us. We're good friends off the set as well. So, don't feel like that.
Two things before I let you go, Tony. Number one, would you support my move if you work for NBC now? I think every broadcast outlet they just need to stop doing interviews with players and coaches after the game, especially the little short thing they do before halftime and whatnot. Coach, what do you have to do? Oh, we have to go out there and play hard. It's the same thing. It's a complete waste of time. I mean, it's a waste. So, would you support me when I say, "Hey, cut all that nonsense out"? We don't need to hear that every time.
Don't talk to him before the game. Don't talk to him at halftime. I agree with that. What am I going to tell you? Hey, here's what we're going to do. No, I'm not going to tell you what we're going to do. That is a waste of time. Talk to the winners afterwards. Celebrate with them. That's important. There's very little the losing coach can say in that situation. So I agree with you. Half of those are really kind of wasted effort, I think.
And my last question. How difficult is it for you, any coach, player, for instance? Everyone has an opinion. You go out and let's say you lose a playoff game or something like that, or any game, and you have every single guy in town opining about what you should have done and what an idiot Tony Dungy was. He should have done this. How do you pay attention to any of that? And how annoying is it that everyone has – it's not like my job. I mean, people have an opinion about what I do, but I don't have a bunch of people coming up to me every day telling me what I should do in my job. How annoying is that for players and coaches?
Well, you learn to live with it. You learn that it goes with the territory. I used to tell my guys that's one of the reasons why we make so much money, because people are passionate about it. They are excited about it. They are going to come out to boo. They are going to cheer. They're going to wave towels and wear your jerseys. They're going to be disappointed when you don't win. So believe me, it goes with the territory. If there were only, 2,000 people in the whole country interested in what we did, and they really didn't have an opinion and they didn't care, nobody would be making the kind of money we make in the football business. So understand it goes with the territory. Don't take it personally. Don't listen to it other than to know that you've got some passionate people behind you.
Tony Dungy, his new book is Justin and the Bully. It's a kid's book, part of a whole series. It's available in stores now. His website, CoachDungy.com. I lied. I have another question for you. Manti Te'o. We know the controversy, the guy from Notre Dame who had the fake girlfriend. I believe he was duped. I know some people say, he made it all up for, I think he was duped. I don't know what you think about that. But if you were coaching and you had the opportunity to pick him up, he's a good player, you could draft him, would this whole incident affect your decision on whether or not to pick him up in the draft?
It would. I think you'd want to get to the bottom of it. You'd want to hear exactly from him what happened. And I would be a little concerned. Even if he was totally innocent and totally was duped, then you worry about, boy, here's a guy that I'm going to pick and he's going to be my leader. How stable is he? And those kind of things. I think those are the questions that you're going to have to ask and find out how it's done. Now, I'm doing a little more research on it, and I'm hearing this isn't as rare as we might think. So maybe it's just something that goes on with this social media. I know I've got a 20-year-old son. He's got a lot of girlfriends that he's talked to on the phone and talks to on the internet. So it happens. It's just different than the way we did it before.
Tony, I have a confession. Your son is actually talking to me. I'm just pretending to be a girl.
Well, that could be. That might be one of the problems. But, so just to say, well, this guy had a long-distance relationship, that's weird, I don't think we can say that anymore. So I think we just need to investigate.
I think he was just embarrassed. I think there's a culture, especially amongst athletes, they have a girl and, you have a bunch of different girls. And I think he was embarrassed to admit that he'd never actually met this girl in person. And I also think that religion, he's Mormon. I grew up in Vegas. There's a lot of Mormons there. I think that religion plays a bit of a part in it, that I know a lot of Mormons. They're a little bit more sheltered, I think, and so I totally could see that it's possible. All right, I'll let you go, but before I do, we're a week and a half away from the Super Bowl, the 49ers and the Ravens. My co-host Dieter here predicted a Ravens win. I don't know if you can give us a prediction or not, but is it going to be a close game? And if you can give us a prediction, what do you see happening in this game?
Well, I think it's going to be a great game. I think the Ravens have a little bit of an advantage. They've got 2 weeks to study how to slow down Colin Kaepernick in this different style of offense. I think the Niners have a better all-around team, but I think the Ravens are riding this emotion with Ray Lewis and wanting to send their leader out with a win in his last game. If I had to pick, I'd say the Ravens in a tight, emotional game. That's my pick.
Tony Dungy certainly knows his stuff, and Tony, I lied to you again. I know you have to go. I have one last question, and I think it's an important one. I just saw this on CBS the other day. They were talking about this rule where if you're going to pick up a head coach, you have to you have to interview one minority guy at least. And now they want to extend that to, offensive coordinators. They go, well, we hired all these new head coaches. None of them are minorities and blah, blah, blah. How do you feel about that? I think you're in a position to comment because, A, you know much more than I do about it. B, you are a minority. I've always thought, and maybe this is just me being a naive white guy, I've always thought that if I were the black guy coming in to interview for one of those jobs, that I would feel, are they really talking to me because they're interested in me, or are they talking to me because they have to talk to a black guy? And I certainly understand encouraging diversity. I get that. I don't know if this is the right way to do it. What's your thought on it? And then I promise I'll let you go.
Well, I do think the system is broken, and not because we have a lack of minority hires. That's one kind of indictment of it. But you just look at it. We've had 23 coaching changes in the last 3 years, so that's almost 3/4 of the league. So owners are not doing a good job of picking coaches. Otherwise, we wouldn't be changing every 2 years.
Right.
I think they need help in how to pick coaches and to not pick based on reputation, not pick based on who the hot guy is in the media, but find out what they really want, what they're really looking for, and make intelligent decisions. So I think we need to do more things to help these guys make intelligent decisions and find out who really are viable candidates. I think that would be more helpful than mandating, you have to interview certain category of people.
Well, Tony, I appreciate all the time you've given us, and good luck with, again, this children's book, Justin and the Bully. I think you said this is the 7th one that you guys have done?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's available in stores now. If you want to see his website, CoachDungy.com. I appreciate you coming on, my man.
All right. Thanks a lot. Always good to be with you. And just you guys have a great day.
Thank you. Tony Dungy.